It's the 30th of July 2025. This is a brand new edition of Newsfirst's Primetime News, coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo, bringing you the news tonight for the Newsfirst team. I am Jaimal Ratnayaka.
And I'm Rochelle Thamodra. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for tonight.
Tsunami waves hit Russia and Japan after 8.8 magnitude earthquake off Russia. Tsunami warnings issued to multiple countries and islands lifted. 90-day on-arrival tourist visas for Sri Lankans visiting the Maldives. Former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa ready to testify over Lalit Kugan case. Representing attorneys inform court.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa මේ වන විට යාපනයේ මහේස්ත්‍රාත් අධිකරණයේ සාක්ෂි ලබා දීම සඳහා එකඟතාවය පළ කරලා තිබෙනවා.
ඒ නඩුවේ සාක්ෂිකරුවෙක් ලෙස ඔහුව ගෙන්නන්න ලැබීමම කියන්නේ යුක්තිය අපේක්ෂා කරන අයගේ ජයග්‍රහණයක් කියලා අපි හිතනවා.
Parliamentarian Rohita Abegunawardana's daughter, who surrendered to the Valana anti-corruption unit, arrested. Former Navy Commander Nishanta Ulugethanna further remanded. Public Security Minister orders special probe into letter written by opposition leader of the Yatinuwara Pradeshiya Sabha before committing suicide. 25% tariff on goods from India will be imposed if a trade deal isn't agreed upon by the 1st of August, says US President Trump. Army Commander Lasanta Rodrigo granted 1-year service extension. A tsunami sent powerful waves toward coastal areas of Russia's Kuril Islands, Japan and Hawaii and Alaska after a powerful 8.8 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Russia early today.
Russian authorities on the Kamchatka Peninsula and Kuril Islands cancelled their tsunami warnings but say the risk of aftershocks and waves remain.
Japan also downgraded its last remaining tsunami alert, but advisories remain in place for its Pacific coast.
A powerful earthquake impacted multiple regions across Russia, causing damage to buildings and infrastructure.
Господи, боже мой!
CCTV footage from a hospital operating room in Russia captured the tremors as they occurred. While several individuals sustained injuries, no fatalities have been reported. Following the quake, tsunami warnings and evacuation orders were issued for parts of the United States and Japan. The US Tsunami Warning Center stated that waves exceeding 3 meters could affect coastal areas in Ecuador, the northeastern Hawaiian Islands and parts of Russia. The center also warned that waves that are several meters high could reach coastal areas in Chile, Costa Rica, Hawaii, Japan and various Pacific islands. Additionally, waves of approximately 1 meter in height are expected in regions including Australia, Colombia, Mexico, New Zealand, Tonga and Taiwan. International media reported that tsunami waves as high as 4 meters reached coastal areas of Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula. Multiple waves were also observed in the Severokurils region of eastern Russia. Russian authorities have issued warnings about potential aftershocks. A full tsunami alert was declared in Hawaii, with officials urging residents to move to higher ground. Sirens were activated across the islands, warning that tsunami waves could reach inland areas. In Japan, tsunami waves were observed in the northern and northeastern coastal areas of Hokkaido Prefecture, prompting immediate evacuation measures. Due to the tsunami threat, workers at the Fukushima Daiichi and Fukushima Daini nuclear power plants were also evacuated. Japan's government has advised citizens to remain highly alert. Authorities stated that approximately 1.9 million people are currently under evacuation orders.
Taking a look at your local news for tonight, the government of the Maldives has decided to issue free 90-day on-arrival tourist visas to Sri Lankan citizens travelling for tourism purposes. This decision coincides with the official visit of President Andrukumar Dissanayake to the Maldives.
According to the President's Media Division, the visa issuance came into effect starting yesterday. To obtain the visa, travellers must present a valid passport and provide proof of sufficient funds to cover expenses during their stay in the Maldives. The Maldivian government stated that this visa facilitation is provided under the bilateral visa agreement between Sri Lanka and the Maldives and in accordance with Maldivian immigration laws and regulations. The initiative aims to strengthen mutual cooperation between the two nations.
Case file. Former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, through his legal representatives, informed the Supreme Court that he is prepared to give evidence in connection with the habeas corpus case filed before the Jaffna Magistrates Court by the relatives of two missing human rights activists, Lalit Viraraj and Kugan Muruganandan.
The appeal related to the disappearance of two human rights activists, Lalit Viraraj and Kugan Muruganandan, that occurred in 2011 within the Jaffna High Security Zone, was taken up before a three-judge bench of the Supreme Court, comprising Justices Yasantha Kodagoda, Kumudini Wickramasinghe and Shiran Gunaratna. At the hearing, President's counsel Romesh De Silva, appearing on behalf of Gotabaya Rajapaksa, stated that due to prevailing security concerns, his client is unable to travel to the Jaffna court to provide testimony. Therefore, the President's counsel informed the court that his client is prepared to give evidence before a court in Colombo instead. In response, the Supreme Court bench informed the President's counsel Romesh De Silva that since the case is being heard at the Jaffna Magistrates Court, the request must be submitted to that court within 4 weeks from today to obtain appropriate orders. On the 9th of December 2011, Lalit Viraraj and Kugan Muruganandan were reported missing in Jaffna. In connection with this disappearance, their relatives filed a case before the Jaffna Magistrates Court. In 2019, a summon was issued to Gotabaya Rajapaksa to appear before the court and provide evidence. However, he filed a petition before the Court of Appeal stating that due to security reasons, he was unable to travel to Jaffna to testify. The Court of Appeal, after reviewing the petition, issued a writ order nullifying the previously issued summon and exempting him from appearing before the Jaffna Magistrates Court. Subsequently, the relatives of the missing individuals approached the Supreme Court, seeking to overturn the decision of the Court of Appeal. Today's proceedings concluded with the hearing of the appeal petitions submitted by the relatives of the disappeared individuals.
Lalit Kumar Kugan Muruganandan வழக்கு இருந்துச்சு.
Today was the hearing of the case involving Lalit Kumar and Kugan Muruganandan. We participated in it. What was said in the Colombo court today is that Gotabaya Rajapaksa will come to Jaffna and give evidence. All this time he said Jaffna was a bit dangerous for him, so he would testify in Colombo instead. But today they said he will give evidence next month. Let's see what happens. I hope it turns out well.
கொஞ்சம் பயங்கரமா இருக்கு. அதனால நாங்க கொழும்புல தான் வந்து சாக்கி கொடுப்பேன்.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa වෙනුවෙන් පෙනී සිටපු නීතිඥවරු අධිකරණයට දැනුම් දුන්නේ.
The lawyers representing Gotabaya Rajapaksa informed the court that he is now prepared to provide evidence before the Jaffna Magistrates Court. Previously, he had not expressed willingness to testify. Now he has agreed to do so. However, his legal team requested that the testimony be taken in Colombo due to security concerns. The Supreme Court directed that this request be made before the Jaffna magistrate. Accordingly, they are expected to seek permission to record the testimony in Colombo. The court has ordered that this process be initiated within 4 weeks.
සති 4ක් ඇතුළත තුල පියවර ගන්න කියලා අධිකරණය නියෝග කරා.
ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ හිටපු ජනාධිපතිවරයා හිටපු ආරක්ෂක අමාත්‍යාංශ ලේකම්වරයා
Gotabaya Rajapaksa, the former president and former defense secretary, has had many allegations against him, but only one case is currently heard before court. The Lalit Kugan case. Bringing him in as a witness in this case is a victory for those who seek justice. We will continue to push the government, the Attorney General's department, the police and the CID to file criminal charges against the accused. Our campaign will move forward.
අපේ ක්‍රියාමාර්ග අපි ඉස්සරහට ගෙනියනවා.
Rochelle Abegunawardena, daughter of the former minister Rohit Abegunawardena, was taken into custody by the Panadura Valana Central Anti-Corruption Unit.
Roshada Abegunawardena, daughter of former Minister Rohita Abegunawardena, surrendered to the Panudura Central Anti-Corruption Unit earlier today through legal representation and was subsequently questioned for nearly 7 hours. Following the interrogation, she was formally placed under arrest. Roshada Abegunawardena was arrested over the unlawful import and assembly of a high-end jeep.
Case file.
Former Navy Commander Nishanta Ulugetana was remanded until the 13th of August following his appearance before Polgahawala Magistrate Prasanna Fernando earlier today. Ulugetana was arrested by the Criminal Investigations Department on the 28th of July in connection with an investigation into the abduction and murder of a civilian in the Potuhara area. The incident is believed to have occurred in 2010, during which Ulugetana served as the head of naval intelligence. Police investigations have revealed that the victim was allegedly held at an unauthorized detention facility operated under Ulugetana's command. The inquiry was initiated based on a letter reportedly sent from the detention center several days after the abduction. Authorities have previously arrested multiple suspects in connection with the case and further investigations are underway. A group of parents whose children were allegedly abducted by the Navy between 2008 and 2009 submitted a complaint to the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption, requesting a proper investigation into the disappearance of 11 youths.
නාවික හමුදාවේම කණ්ඩායමක් විසින් 2008-9 වර්ෂයේදී අපි දන්නවා තරුණයින් ඇතුළු
Today, we accompanied the parents to the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption and filed a complaint. The basis of this complaint is the abduction and disappearance of 11 youths by a group within the Navy between 2008 and 2009. A case related to this was heard at the Fort Magistrates Court and it is now before a 3-judge High Court bench. In 2018, it was revealed that one of the suspects, Chaminda Prasad Hettiarachi, also known as Navy Sampath, had evaded court and investigations despite being ordered to appear. The Navy claimed that he had left service without informing them, but investigations later revealed he was residing within Navy premises. The Navy had provided false information to the detectives and the court. This led to a separate case being filed by the Fort Magistrates Court in 2018. The CID filed charges. The main accused included then Navy Commander Admiral Ravindra Vijay Gunaratna and 2 others including Chaminda Prasad Hettiarachi. In 2022, the case was set aside pending advice from the Attorney General and it remained so in 2023. However, in 2024, there was no communication from the defence. The case has been driven forward by the victims' families, not the accused. Investigations revealed that Admiral Vijay Gunaratna was appointed as Sri Lanka's ambassador to Pakistan by the previous government. We question how someone accused in a criminal case could be appointed to such a diplomatic post. Today, the parents filed a complaint with the Bribery Commission regarding corruption linked to this matter.
දූෂණය කියන කාරණාව සම්බන්ධව අලසෝ දූෂණ විමර්ශන කමිෂන් සභාවට පැමිණිල්ලක් කරනු ලැබුවා.
Case file.
2 suspects have been arrested in connection with a series of serious crimes allegedly linked to former Eastern Provincial Councillor K. Pushpakumara, also known as Inya Bharati. The arrests were made by officers from the Criminal Investigation Department in separate operations conducted in Batiklo and Valikanda. Inya Bharati is known to be a close associate of former Eastern Province Chief Minister Sivanesa Suresh Chandrakanthan, widely known as Pilyan, who is also under CID custody. Public Security Minister Ananda Vijaypala previously stated in Parliament that Pilyan is facing allegations related to 2019 Easter Sunday terror attacks.
Case file.
The accountant of the Sabaragamuwa Provincial Council has been arrested in connection with an alleged financial fraud amounting to 70 million rupees. The accountant is accused of signing checks related to 32 different projects of the Ambilipitiya Pradeshya Sabha for the years 2016 and 2017. The Criminal Investigation Department has launched a probe in several incidents of fraud involving road construction and the development of sports grounds. According to police, 13 suspects have been arrested so far in connection with the case.
News First with the people.
Minister of Public Security Ananda Vijaypala has directed the acting Inspector Inspector General of Police to launch a special investigation into a letter written by opposition leader of the Yatinuwara Pradeshiya Sabha, Nilantha Champika, who is suspected of killing his wife and daughter before taking his own life. The minister said that the probe was ordered as the letter names the senior superintendent of police in charge of the Kandy division and refers to alleged death threats from a businessman. According to the letter, allegedly written by opposition leader of the Yatinuwara Pradeshiya Sabha, Nilantha Champika, the dispute is believed to have arisen from a sale of a house. Police said that the letter also alleges that the SSP of Kandy, Anuruddha Bandaranayake, had demanded 500,000 rupees in connection with a complaint lodged over the matter. It further names a key individual involved in the transaction, with police confirming that investigations are underway. The bodies of Nilantha Champika, his wife and their daughter were discovered at their residence last morning. The caskets containing the bodies were brought to their residence today.
SOPP media spokesperson Sanjay Vedirimana says that a public opinion has now been formed that Namal Rajapaksa will be elected as the next president.
Have you heard someone saying that the main opposition will be elected as the next government? However, the discussion around Namal Rajapaksa being the next president is not something we created. Such a conversation has naturally emerged within the country. It is not an artificially constructed narrative by anyone, but rather a naturally formed public opinion.
ජනාධිපතිවරණයක් තව අවුරුදු 4ක් තියෙනවා. දැන් මේ කාල සීමාවත් තියාගෙන මේ වගේ එකපාරටම මේ කෙනෙක් ජනාධිපති කියලා නම් කරන ඉදිරි ජනාධිපති මෙයා
The term 4 years refers only to the maximum duration allowed for holding a particular office. It doesn't guarantee that the government or its leader will remain in power until the very last day. While it sets a limit that cannot be exceeded, it doesn't ensure political continuity up to that point. A government can change before that, and we have seen such shifts happen even in Sri Lanka. In strong democracies like the United Kingdom, for example, we've seen several prime ministers come and go in quick succession. In India too, after Vajpayee's tenure, leaders like Indra Kumar Gujral served for short periods. So, just because the maximum duration is 5 years, we don't believe this government has a justified expectation to remain in power until 2029. Political realities can shift, and early changes in leadership are always possible. Kandy district leader of the United National Party, Navin Disanayake, today called on the Anunayaka of the Dadalu chapter of the Amarapura Sirisumana sect, Tripitaka Vagishwara Saddharma Kirti, Sri Venerable Kataluwe Ratanasiha Thera at the Ravatavatta Sri Sambuddha Viharaya in Moratua.
As the Yala season paddy harvesting gets underway across the Polonnaru district, farmers are voicing serious concerns over the lack of the access to government paddy warehouses, which remain unopened despite the ongoing harvest.
Polonnaru contributes approximately 17% of the total Yala season paddy production in Sri Lanka. This season, 69,100 hectares of land have been cultivated, supporting around 74,000 farming families. The expected yield is estimated at 350,000 metric tons, and harvesting has already begun in several areas. In the Kirimatipitiya farming zone, under the Ilukpitiya reservoir, harvesting has commenced across 100 acres, benefiting 80 farming families. Farmers claim that despite the government's claims, paddy is not being purchased at the prices announced.
වී වලට මිලක් නැහැ. රජයෙන් නියම කරලා තියෙනවා තෙත වී වලට කියලා 102යි අර 105යි 110යි කියලා මිල්. ඒවාට ඒ මිලට වෙලෙන්දෝ ගන්න නැහනේ. එක්කෝ රජයෙන් ඒ පාලන මිලක් තෙත වී වලට නොදා ඉන්න තිබ්බා. මොකද අපෙන් මේට කලින් තෙත වී නාඩු කිලෝ එක රුපියල් 115ටත් විතරයි කීරි සම්බ 135න් විතර ගත්ත මුදලාලියා. දැන් ඒක අපිට නැති වෙලා තියෙනවා. පාලන මිලක් දානකොට සාමාන්‍ය හිතලා දාන්න ඕනේ. කපන්න පාගන්න ගියාමත් ඒ වගේත් මිල ටිකක් වැඩි. ඒකට අපිට මේ මැෂින් වලට දුන්නාම ආරමේ ලොකු ආදායමක් මේ වගේ ඇත්තෙත් නැහැ. පෝරසාන ආධාරය දුන්නට අපිට ස්තුතියි. ඒ වුණාට මේ වී වලට මිලක් දෙන්නේ නැති එක තමයි තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ. දැන් රජයෙන් වී ගන්න ගබඩාවක්වත් පොළොන්නරු ඇරලා නැහැ අපිට දෙන්න.
හාල් මිල කොහෙවත් අඩු කරලා නැහැ නේ මහත්තයා. ඉතින් මේකට රජය මැදිහත් විය යුතුයි අපි කියන්නේ. ගොවියටත් නැහැ මහජනතාවටත් නැහැ. අපි මේ ගන්න මුදලින් මාස 6ක් තිස්සේ ළමයි අධ්‍යාපනය දෙන්න ඕන, කැම්පිය වියදම් බලා ගන්න ඕන, අපේ ලෙඩසුක් වලට බලන්න ඕන, අපේ මගුල් ගෙවල් මල ගෙවල් බැනක බලන්න ඕන. හැබැයි අපි මේ ගන්න සොච්චෙමින් එපා මේ සීළු දේ කරන්න මහත්තයා.
ඔව් තෙතවි අඩුම 120කට වගේ තෙතවි ගන්න ඕන. අපිට මේ අවුලක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. එතකොට සම්බෝලයවත් කන්නත් නැහැ ළමයෙකුට. ඉතින් ඇත්තම කතාව ඒකයි.
Farmers also highlight the issue of unopened government paddy warehouses, which are essential for storing harvested grain. The Polonnaruwa district has 38 government-owned warehouses under the Paddy Marketing Board. At the new town warehouse in Madirigiriya, conditions are poor.
මෙන්න ගබඩා මේ තියෙන්නේ නවනගරේ ගබඩාව නවනගරේ ගබඩාවට වී ගන්න මෙයාලගේ සූදානම් මොකද අපි ආණ්ඩුවේ ඉන්න කුසිකරන හැමතින් අහනවා ඔයාලගේ සූදානම් මොකද බෙන්න ඔයාලගේ ගබඩා දැන් කුඹුරු වල වී ටික කුණු කොල්ලේට රුපියල් 88ට ගන්නවා මේ දවස්වල 6300යි නාඩු මීටියක් අපි අහන්නේ 6300ට වී දීලා බඩු වැඩි වෙලා බඩු මිල වැඩි වෙලා වැට් එක ගහලා හැම එකටම ජීවත් වෙන්න බැරි තත්ත්වයක් හදලා ගොවියට දැන් රුපියල් 88ට වී දීලා ඇති වෙයිද අපිට කුසිකර්මාන්තයේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් නම් මෙලෝ වැඩ පිළිවෙලක් නැහැ ඒ නිසා මේ මහ ඝන කැල මේක සුද්ධ කරන්න කවද ඔය සූදානම් නැහැ.
හරියට අපිට වේල්ලා දෙන්න පුළුවන් ගබඩා ටික ඒවරලා තියන්න ඕනේ. ගබඩා ඉන්නේ මේ ගොයියාගේ වීදි කිව්වරස්. දවස් 20 25 වෙනකොට යාය කපනවනේ.
Polonnaruwa District Secretary S. Ekanayaka stated that 5 out of 38 warehouses have been opened and 15 more will be operational once harvesting is complete.
US President Donald Trump has announced that India will be subjected to tariffs of 25% on imports to the United States, plus an unspecified penalty as he hit out at the country's trade policy.
Just days ahead of the self-imposed 1st of August deadline date, before the tariffs come into effect, US President Donald Trump stated that the India-US trade deal was, quote-unquote, working out really well, but hinted that a 20% to 25% tariff on New Delhi. Trump said India, which has the world's 5th largest economy, will also face an unspecified penalty on the 1st of August, but did not elaborate on the amount or what it was for. When asked about what he expected from the potential deal with India, Trump said that while India has been a good friend, India has also charged basically more tariffs than almost any other country.
India's they're my friends and he's my friend. And, you know, they ended the war with Pakistan at my request and that was great. And Pakistan did also, you know, we did a lot of great settlements, including the recent one, as you know, with Cambodia, So that was a great one. I think that's been pretty well finalized now, right?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Did I do a good job in that one? I did a good job in about 5 different wars. Do you think I'll get credit for it? No. Will I get credit for it? She'll say yes. No.
Is the deal with India finalized?
No, it's not.
Okay. So what rate are you expecting?
Oh, we're going to see. We're going to see. But India's been a good friend. But India has charged basically more tariffs than almost any other country. You know that, right? Over the years. But now I'm in charge and you just can't do that.
Back in April, Trump had announced tariffs of up to 27% on Indian goods, which was later paused. Since then, both sides have been racing to negotiate an agreement, with officials sometimes sounding positive and at other times measured. Trump has not yet sent a letter to India setting a new tariff rate, as he has with more than a dozen other trading partners.
Army Commander Lieutenant General Lasantha Rodrigo has been granted a service extension effective the 1st of August by President Andrukumara Dissanayake.
Lieutenant General Lasantha Rodrigo assumed duties as the 25th Commander of the Sri Lanka Army effective 31st December 2024. Prior to his appointment, he served as the Deputy Chief of Staff of the Sri Lanka Army. Lieutenant General Rodrigo is an alumnus of St. Benedict's College, Colombo.
The historic Nallur Festival.
Today marks the second day of the annual Grand Festival at the historic Nallur Kandaswamy Kovil in Jaffna. Special pujas were held at the Nallur Kandaswamy Kovil during the morning and evening. Following morning rituals, the divine weapon, also known as the Velayuda, was ceremoniously placed on a throne and transported to the Kovil. The statues of Valli Mata and Tevani Mata were ceremonially placed on a swan-shaped seat. The deity statues were also brought into the Kovil in the evening. A large number of devotees gathered in Jaffna to seek blessings.
The first Kumbal Perahera of the Kandy Asala Perahera began its procession through the streets of Kandy at 7:05 p.m. today. The procession headed northwards at the auspicious time, marking the start of the festival's traditional celebrations. Following today's first Kumbal Perahera, 5 more will take place over the next 5 days. The main Perahera is scheduled for the night of the Nikini full moon Poi Day on the 8th of August.
5 more will take place over the next 5 days. The main Perahera is scheduled for the night of Nikini full moon Poi Day on the 8th of August.
On to more news. High Commissioner of Sri Lanka to India, Maheshini Kolonne, presented her credentials to the President of India, Draupadi Murmu.
High Commissioner of Sri Lanka to India, Maheshini Kolonne, presented her credentials to the President of India, Draupadi Murmu, at the Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi yesterday. The High Commissioner conveyed to President Murmu the greetings and good wishes of President Anurakumara Dissanayake. The High Commissioner conveyed Sri Lanka's appreciation to India for the consistent support extended, especially in times of crisis. Referring to India being Sri Lanka's largest trading partner, largest source of tourism and a significant investor, the High Commissioner assured the President of her commitment to work towards further strengthening the multifaceted India-Sri Lanka partnership. President Murmu, in her remarks, recalled the visit of President Dissanayake to India and conveyed her warm greetings to the President. Stating that India-Sri Lanka relations are underpinned by a combination of historical, cultural and economic factors, she emphasized that Sri Lanka occupies a key position in India's neighbourhood first policy and Vision Mahasagar. She stressed that India is committed to Sri Lanka's economic growth and recovery.
The official launch of Sri Lanka's defence policy since independence and the shifting balance of power in the Indian Ocean by Professor Gamini Keerawalla was held in Colombo yesterday.
The official launch of Sri Lanka's defence policy since independence and the shifting balance of power in the Indian Ocean, authored by Professor Gamini Keerawalla and published by Bandaranaike Centre for International Studies, was held in Colombo. In his book, Professor Keerawalla, an Emeritus Professor of History, member of the BCIS Academic Affairs Board and Council of Management, and former Executive Director of BCIS, offers a compelling analysis of Sri Lanka's defence strategy from 1948 to today.
Sri Lanka's defence policy since independence and the shifting balance of power in the Indian Ocean is a modest but deliberate attempt to address this gap in homegrown scholarship in defense studies and international relations. My intention in this work is mainly twofold. First, to underscore the importance of rigorous, policy-relevant and empirical grounded research that not enriches academic understanding but also contributes to the development of practical, forward-looking strategies for Sri Lanka's foreign and defense policy in an increasingly complex and volatile global environment. Second is to encourage and inspire a new generation of scholars to engage with this critical field, one that has too long remained on the periphery of academic inquiry in Sri Lanka. It is my sincere hope that this book is not an end, but a beginning, a starting point for deeper reflection, renewed debates, and the emergence of a vibrant scholarly community dedicated to examining our national and regional security landscape.
One of the first thoughts which came to me after reading this valuable book is, for 77 years, we never had a clearly laid down defense policy. So, and I think now, more than ever, we need a clearly articulated defense policy as well as a foreign policy. One of the main themes of this book is shifting global power dynamics. As the global power dynamics shift, the Indian Ocean has emerged as a critical theater for strategic competition. Thereby, strategically located countries like Sri Lanka are going through a very difficult time. Ladies and gentlemen, the main theme of this book, even the cover, is the ocean. And we all know the importance of the Indian Ocean. If you look at the figures, nearly 75% of world energy, 50% of world containers, and 35% of world bulk cargo are carried across the waters of the Indian Ocean. And this tiny island nation is sitting very close to one of the main arteries of global maritime commerce across the Indian Ocean. Another very important thing I think we need to understand now when we talk about long-term policy is the unpredictable nature of conflict taking place in the world. All these unpredictable events are having unintended consequences in the whole world. Now we know that Sri Lanka is located just 12 miles north of the main shipping line across the Indian Ocean. This location is critically important to us. We have to really look into the ocean for our prosperity and development. What is very important is we need to maintain surveillance of our ocean area. We are not yet fully doing it, and we need some cooperative regional arrangements. We cannot do it alone in the ocean.
The book also explores how domestic political developments and shifting geopolitical dynamics have shaped the country's national security policy within the increasingly contested Indian Ocean region. Former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga was the chief guest for the event.
Sri Lanka Association for the Advancement of Science hosted a laboratory equipment and consumables donation program 2025.
Laboratory Equipment and Consumables Donation Program 2025, organized by the Sri Lanka Association for the Advancement of Science, was held in Colombo.
Over the years, SLAS has worked hand in hand with the science branch of Ministry of Education on various programs and projects at improving science learning and creating better opportunities to the students as well as today's donation of laboratory resources is one more example of the wonderful collaboration. In a time when practical science education is more important than ever, providing school with the necessary tools and equipment plays a key role in enhancing the quality of science teaching and learning process. I believe that the schools receiving these resources today are very fortunate. This is a great opportunity to strengthen your science programs and encourage hands-on learning, laboratories hands-on learning. We know laboratories are the heart of the science education. They help students to explore, experiment, and truly understanding scientific concepts. I encourage all the school principals and science teachers here to make full use of these valuable resources.
The theme of this year was to help the underprivileged through the popularization of science and technology. When I proposed in my inauguration speech, I suggested that when we think about the problem in the country, there are 11,000 schools, but we know only 3,000 schools or less than 3,000 schools have science in their schools. And they don't have facilities. But if you want to change, if you want to lift this country to a different level, that we have to definitely utilize science and technology and then improve the lifestyle of the people. Right? So for that, we have to popularize science and technology among the school children. In that, one of my objectives or targets was to donate laboratory equipment to the underprivileged or the needy schools. So that's how we came to this topic, all the laboratory equipment and consumable donation program 2025.
This vital initiative, carried out in close collaboration with the science branch of the Ministry of Education, reflects Sirasa's long-standing dedication to empowering schools with the tools needed to foster practical, hands-on science learning across the country. Students who received the equipment expressed great enthusiasm, eager to explore and experiment using the new laboratory resources.
The Organization of Professional Associations of Sri Lanka hosted a seminar on geopolitical impact on national security yesterday.
The Organization of Professional Associations of Sri Lanka, or the OPA, hosted a seminar yesterday on the geopolitical impact on national security, bringing together thought leaders and experts for a timely and insightful discussion. Among the distinguished speakers was MP Partli Champika Ranawaka.
What is national security? It's a big question. What is national security? The national security and defense of a sovereign state and its borders, including its citizens, that's the most important thing. Economy and institution, which is regarded as a duty of the government to protect it. And this national security is intertwined with the national sovereignty. Our land borders, territorial waters, exclusive economic zone, then these maritime borders and the continental shelf. If you consider all these things, the Sri Lanka's size is much bigger. It's around more than 20 times more if you consider all these factors, including the continental shelf. It is not recognized still, but I think in the time to come, UN will recognize it. A lot of disagreement between us and India and various other countries, but I think we will be having a huge continental shelf with a huge resource base as well. And to protect state institutions and also the people of the country and their liberty and sovereignty, the free will to determine their own future. So geopolitics will affect all these things in this current world context.
As Sri Lanka marks 35 years of registering domain names, in 2025, Foundation LK, an initiative dedicated to digitally empowering communities, was launched in Colombo.
LK Domain Registry, the sole administrator in Sri Lanka for web addresses with .lk, together with TechCert, launched their latest not-for-profit initiative, Foundation.lk, with a mission of helping people across Sri Lanka harness the full potential of the digital world. The event was attended by many leaders and dignitaries of the domain and tech industries, representing both local and international platforms.
We are designing our program to impact all the communities positively. For example, for artisans, we are developing a program how artisans can be leveraged with digital tools and technologies to empower themselves by accessing global market. It is not easy. I mean, they don't have any access, they don't have any knowledge, they don't have any digital, program. Similarly, in this area, we can collaborate that how artisans from Sri Lanka and weavers from Sri Lanka can, get this kind of support to empower themselves to send their product and in the global market.
The next chapter of the internet revolution is already unfolding, marked by the explosive growth of artificial intelligence, readily accessible to anyone with internet connection. Through the partnership and e-learning division of the LK Domain Registry, we have led a range of impactful projects nationwide, driven by the belief that digital empowerment opens pathways to education, entrepreneurship, and personal growth.
Foundation.lk will serve as a not-for-profit initiative dedicated to empowering Sri Lankans with the knowledge, skills and resources to navigate cyberspace safely and confidently, promoting responsible digital citizenship and unlocking opportunities in the evolving digital landscape.
The International Monetary Fund has issued a stark warning about the global trade outlook, highlighting the risks of renewed tariff escalations and their potential impact on economic growth. Speaking ahead of the August 1st expiration of the current tariff pause, IMF chief economist Pierre-Olivier Gourinchas described the trade environment as quote-unquote precarious, with the possibility of tariffs resetting to significantly higher levels if existing deals unravel.
The current trade environment remains precarious. Tariffs could well reset at much higher levels once the pause expires on August 1st, or if existing deals unravel. If this were the case, model-based simulations suggest global output could be 0.3% lower in 2026. Without comprehensive agreements, the ongoing trade uncertainty could increasingly weigh on investment and activity. Further, while exports front-loading has supported global activity so far, firms could become vulnerable if the demand for stockpiled goods does not materialize. The geopolitical environment also remains fragile, with the potential for more negative supply disruptions. While global inflation continues to decline, the latest price data suggests that inflation pressures are building gradually in the US. Overall, US import prices in dollars have remained largely unchanged or even increased this year, suggesting that the cost of tariffs will be borne by US retailers and importers and eventually customers as firms start to pass through higher costs into their prices. In too many countries, the combination of high public debt and still elevated public deficits continues to be a cause for concern. The lack of fiscal space makes these countries especially vulnerable to a sudden tightening in financial conditions that increase term premium. Such tightening becomes even more likely if central bank independence, a cornerstone of macroeconomic, monetary and financial stability, is undermined.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi says that fishermen in Tamil Nadu continue to suffer because Congress gifted Kachuthiv Island to Sri Lanka.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the Lok Sabha yesterday, highlighting concerns over the transfer of Kachuthiv Island to Sri Lanka. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin wrote to Union External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, urging immediate diplomatic intervention to secure the release of the detained fishermen and their boats. Responding to the situation, Sri Lanka's Deputy Minister of Fisheries, Ratna Gamage, made remarks regarding the fishermen's issue.
අපේ රටේ උතුරු මුහුදට සිදුවන ඉන්දියානු දීවර බලපෑම එන්න වැඩිවීමක් වුණා පහුගිය දවස්වල. ඒ ඊයේ දවසේ අපිට වාර්තා වුණා බත්තලංගුණ්ඩුව ආසන්නයේටම ඉන්දියානු දීවරයන් පැමිණ අපේ රටේ මුහුද ආක්‍රමණය කළා මෙරට මත්ස්‍ය සම්පත කොල්ලකා ගැනීමක් කරනවා කියලා. ඊට අමතරව අපේ මුහුදු තීරය ආක්‍රමණය කළා මත්ස්‍ය අල්ලා ගැනීම සිද්ධ කරනවා නම් ලංකාවේ නාවික හමුදාව එකට අදාළව ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන එක තමයි රටේ නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්නේ.
So far this year, 199 Indian fishermen were arrested along with 27 boats on charges of illegal cross-border fishing.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.